hope it's not very academic discussion.
All right, good morning, and it's now 8 on the dot, and we're coming to you live from Nzoia County. Of course, this is Good Morning Kenya. The transition moving from Nairobi, the capital city, to the food basket of Kenya. How is it going to be? We are coming to you live from Kitale, and of course, we've been waiting for that interview with the host governor, George Natembeya. We'll be talking about matters that pertains people of Nzoia in general, and any other question that you'd want him to answer. He's here for the next 1 hour. Governor, it's a chilly morning here in Nzoia. We've been here for the last 1 hour, and we're freezing, literally.
But the weather will change. In the course of the day, it's going to become very hot.
How is it transitioning from the administrative wing of government now to this other side? Here they call you. Yes, sir. Afandi, sir. Yes, soldier. That's how you hear what they call you. How is it that transition from the other side of the administration to governance?
With the transition,
right.
Given that basically the work is the same, only that now the work is linked with a lot of politics.
Yes.
But of course, you interact with the people with the people more, and the interaction is a bit more informal.
Yes.
And I think I like it. I like it that way.
Yeah.
And of course, we impact on people directly. As a governor, you can make a decision and implement it without necessarily consulting too many people. I think that's the difference.
You have just clocked almost 156 days in office. How is it so far for you?
But I think the main challenge has been the formation of government. I think when we say that we'll be doing this and that in 9 days, basically what we should be saying that we'll be forming government within those days, because the process is long, it's tedious, a lot of interviews, approvals by the county assembly. It takes a bit of time. Actually, we lose almost 3 months just doing nothing but forming government. But because we know what we are supposed to do, after forming government, we've embarked on the business of running the affairs of Nzoia County. So far, so good. We formed the government smoothly. Of course, there were a few hiccups here and there. Some people went to court to challenge the appointment of chief officers. It took us another maybe 1.5 months delay, but we overcame that. Now everything's running smoothly. We have got senior officers in place. The CCs are in place. The council secretary is in place, and also chief officers are in place. So the bureaucracy is basically formed.
Because when we look at most of the counties are still grappling with the formation of their government. But based on what you have in the previous administration, did you transit the people from the previous administration to your government right now? Some officers from the previous administration.
Government and the bureaucracy. There are people who were employed and they'll be in government until they retire at the age of 60. That's a permanent progress. From director level and below, they're basically intact. Of course, we still have issues because some departments are not very fully staffed. The people normally who exist with the governor are the county executive committee members, the county ministers. That one, their terms are tied to the term of the governor, and also the chief officers. Their terms end almost after the exit of the governor, just for purpose of managing the transition. So basically, many of the officers who are currently serving the county government of Nzoia even were inherited from the previous one, from even the local authorities right there, the municipal council and the county councils. But one good thing with the public official civil servants is that when new admission comes in, you look at its agenda, then you change immediately. So we don't really have issues. And of course, they're given guidance by the chief officers and the CCs to align themselves with the current priorities of the current government.
You didn't have any opposition? You didn't have any opposition while you were forming your government?
The county assembly was very cooperative. They cooperated with us because they have to approve the names of the CECs and also the chief officers. And as I said from the beginning, we had a few people who went to court. They were arguing about regional balance of the chief of nominees. But you look at my list, really, there was no issue. Compared with the previous regime, I tried as much as possible to ensure that we have a very inclusive government. Nzoia being what it is, very cosmopolitan. We tried as much as possible to have all communities included in the government. Of course, Nzoia has got so many communities. Almost every community in Kenya resides here, so it's not possible to fit all of them in 10 positions. But we tried as much as possible to ensure that we have got the disabled there, that the women are properly represented. All ethnic communities, especially the major ones and even the marginalized ones, are well represented. And we were still forming government, even though we got to the director level, we'll ensure that those who did not get opportunity at the CEC's chief officer level, that get opportunity at the director level and other available opportunities within government.
Governor, it's you are serving your first term as a governor of Nzoia County. So let's start where we should. What is your development agenda?
My agenda is big. First of all, I appreciate the fact that as a county, we did not do very well in the formative years of devolution. The first 10 years we didn't do very well. Therefore, the place where we are starting is not the place where the other counties are.
Yes, it's a continuous process.
Yeah, so we are a bit behind. So we are focusing majorly on things that directly affect our people. We want to go big on agriculture. In terms of just improving productivity. Nzoia has been known as Kenya's breadbasket. But now for the longest time now, we even have food insecurity within Nzoia. There are so many people who cannot even afford 3 meals in a day. So we want to go back. We have identified the challenges, why production even of maize has gone down. Our soils are sick and our farmers aren't getting adequate inputs. So we want to focus more on agriculture, increase productivity and add value even to what we are producing. So we don't have any industry, proper industry that can add value even to the maize that we produce. We also want to go heavy on health. Currently, our health situation in Nzoia is actually sick. It's very unhealthy. All our level,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All our level 4 so were downgraded to health centers because of the poor quality of services they were rendering to the people. We've been putting up a referral hospital that has taken about 7 years. Global about 1.7, 2 billion shillings. That's not even complete. So you'll find our people going to Eldoret to seek for medical care, and we are saying we're not going to congest other people's hospitals with the capacity of building our own. Our infrastructure is very bad, and it's tied to the first one of agriculture. We are producing maize, but farmers can't reach the market. Actually, during the campaigns is when I really appreciated the poor state of our roads network in the county. Of course, we started working on those. The others that are the responsibility of the national government, the KERA, KURA, and KENHA, we began that conversation with the national government agencies to ensure that they also come in and assist us. Of course, education is another key plank in my administration. We've done our math and it's not adding up. Our children are not passing exams. Like the last KCP, less than 500 got more than 350 marks.
And that is a big worry,
It's worrying. Less than 5,000 got above 250 marks. In a county that used to be number 1 in Kenya, at the formative stages of KCP, actually Nzoia used to be number 1 in Kenya.
Does that worry you? Because education has been, part of it has been devolved.
What is devolved is just ECD, the basic, what you call nursery. But we, as government, have got an interest also in knowing what's happening in my primary and secondary schools. Nobody's going to tell me that's the responsibility of the national government. Those are my children. They're our children of Nzoia. I want to find out what's really happening. Because if we cannot check, then we're not going to have a proper manpower in the future. And then if kids have not even completed basic education, which is actually from ECD to Form 4, we're still grappling with that. So I want to sort that out. We find what challenges are there. Even the issues of serving, of course, we'll pick it up with the TSC to ensure that we have got enough teachers. It's a matter of infrastructure. We're going to liaise with the Ministry of Education and see how we're going to collaborate, even just to ensure that we have got classes. We've resolved as a county to pay fees for all our children who got more than 250 marks. They've been admitted to day schools and they come from needy families. We are going to pay fees from Form 1 up to Form 4. Again, we set aside about 120 million shillings this financial year, and we'll be doing that every year. By the time we're doing our 4th year, we'll have set aside about 400 million just to sort out this problem. Then, of course, the issue of water. Nzoia being a county with 2 water towers. We're lucky. We have Cherengani Hills, we've got Mount Elgon, but we still suffer water shortages here. People are drinking dirty water. Water is not even available. We are going to go heavy on boreholes and even working with the national government agencies to ensure that we even have mega projects that will have water collected from all these water towers and have it distributed to our people. Then, of course, finally, the issue of environment. We've been part and parcel of destroying the environment. Our people are very good in terms of planting trees, conserving the environment. But I think at some point, when the national government lost it, we also lost it. So we are going back. And I want to agree with the president that we plant very many trees. Talking about 15 billion, we are going to do our part, ensuring that during the planting season, we plant as many seedlings as possible. So those are some of the key issues that we want to address, including, of course, giving a facelift to our town here. It's not doing very well. We are just waiting a bit for these roads to be complete, and then now we come in and do a bit of landscaping and beautifying our town.
Governor, when you talked about your 10-point agenda, which is quite close to your heart, and the people of Nzoia are going to look up to you, whether you're going to achieve them or not, because at the end of the day, you must get your report card after 5 years. But then, one thing which is quite important, the expansion of Kitale or Nzoia as it is, there is that bit of lack of enough space for the town to expand. And what are you going to do about it? Because, you need enough space to operate. Kitale is now the headquarters of Nzoia County. Yes.
Kitale is surrounded by public utilities. The national government has got a lot of land within Nzoia and within Kitale. Actually, the town is surrounded by public utilities. We have KFS there. We have the showground there. We have the museum, but the museum is now coming back to the county government. We have Calro. We have KFS. We have the prison, the medium prison. We have started negotiating with the national government, starting with the prison land, which is about 160 acres, so that we have it for purpose of opening up the town. The political leadership has goodwill, but the bureaucrats are funny people. People don't appreciate anything. They're not practical at all. You want to talk to somebody. Like now, we have a forest inside the Kitale town. Forest that is not even properly forested. You only see trees along the road, but inside there, there are no trees. We want to agree with them. They give us part of that land, even if we just want to do nature trails there. We don't want to. Me personally, I'm good in conserving the environment. We will not destroy your mazingira. So we want to have some of those parcels of land given to the national government for purpose of growing our town. There's great potential for Kitale to grow even to do a big metropolis if the national government will cooperate. I'm happy because the president himself has shown a lot of willingness, and I think the rest of the bureaucracy will follow suit, so that we don't fight about this. It's not personal. When you say get us land to do this kind of developments, we should bring in other arguments that really don't add value. Kitale already has 4 prisons. Why do we need 4 prisons in Kitale town? Why do we need 4 prisons? Maybe somebody will tell you, we are closing, we are going to take prisoners. Yes. But there's other prisons. What we should be doing is construct even more facilities, because the facilities that the prisons are using now were constructed during the colonial days. That basically ran down.
Discussion with these on the negotiations, because you need room to expand. Governor.
Of course, we stopped.
The team has been sent from the Department of Correctional Services. They were here last week. I'll be having a meeting tomorrow with the principal secretary herself. She's coming around, and I'm hoping to have very fruitful engagements with her so that we can agree on the way forward. Not whether or not the land is going to be ceded, because I think that there's already a presidential directive to that effect that we are going to give the land to the county government of Nzoia. So when she comes tomorrow, we're going to discuss the how. Yeah.
And the issue of land for expansion has been a thorn in the flesh for a very, very long time. Are you sure you are going to achieve this time around?
Because there's political will and there's justification. Well, if you don't get that land, what Kitale in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where were the bottlenecks before?
As I said, there was just lack of willingness. People were just saying no. Without
no apparent strong
without any reason. Because why you wouldn't say no? And then they don't want to cede the land to the county government, but they are happy. They do that nothing when that land is grabbed. Because from where I sit, I know that the acreage of that land has reduced from 159 acres to about 117. But for me, I'm going to for the entire 159 acres, because that land was not available for allocation to anybody. So people have been grabbing it, every year, every time they grab it and reducing that one. They should be ready. They should be ready to move out the moment the national government cedes the land to us. So these bureaucrats who are completely uncooperative, how come when the land is being grabbed, they're very cooperative with the grabbers who want to use it for private use, but when the government comes in and wants to use it for public good, there are so many obstacles. Yeah. But on this one, I think because we have the support of the president, I don't think we're going to have any serious challenges in terms of having it.
Let me take you back to your administration. Now. Nzoia County is cosmopolitan. We have got several people coming from, the Sabot is here, the Kisses. It's almost every Kenya is represented here. How did you balance that when you're forming your county government?
Nzoia is cosmopolitan, but of course we went with competence, capability. And one good thing is that this competence is found in all communities. You cannot say that maybe you left out a particular community because we didn't find anybody competent in there. So competence was first, and one good thing is that every community has got competent people. So we tried as much as possible to balance all these communities. And as I said from the outset, that it's not possible to have all the 45 communities accommodated within 10 positions. It's not possible. But the way we have done it, I think that the general people are satisfied. Of course, previously you'll get almost 95% of the appointments coming from the dominant community. But now, of course, we did our percentages in terms of community representation within the county and gave them positions accordingly in a very equitable manner, and also ensuring that even the small ones, they may not have the numbers, also are accommodated, because minorities must be taken care of. It's a principle of our constitution. We can't ignore that, and that's why you didn't see a lot of noise. Even those who went to court, these are just opportunistic fellows who go to court and then they want to negotiate with you that I went to court, but if you give me 3 million shillings, I can always withdraw this matter. But I told them we're not going to discuss anything with extortionists. We refused that, and the court even agreed with us that this matter was done well.
Governor, let me take you back. You formed a government when there's a complete transition from the last regime to the new regime. And as governors, you had a meeting. You've been busy sitting, IBEC, having the supplementary budgets here and there, forming the formation of the government. How has it been for you running a government with limited resources? Yes.
Is an elephant in the room, because since we assumed office in August, I've only received 2 disbursements. We're supposed to get monthly disbursements. Actually, by the 5th of every month, we're supposed to get money from the treasury.
That is for the treasury.
Our allocation of national revenue is supposed to come monthly. I've only received twice, for September and for October. And even for October, I think I just received about 3.
Most of the county governments have been complaining they've not received their money.
October. So November, December, January, this February, almost 4 months, no disbursements.
Okay.
How do you run government like that? Sometimes when we get commercial loans to pay salaries. So I think the treasury must up its game. From where we sit, some of us believe that some national government institutions are hell-bent on just ensuring that devolution doesn't.
How much have you received the two disbursements?
I guess about 1.2 billion. Because we get about 600 million per disbursement, about 600 million per disbursement.
And what you get from the national government? From the national government, the total revenue for annual revenue?
The whole year is about 7 billion.
Which again we share with, of course, with the county assembly. But the share of the county assembly comes to the executive.
Yes.
So it's just about 7-point-something billion. But the figure can go up to 9 billion because we still have carryovers. You know, that like this year, I'm pretty sure we will not be able to absorb all the funds because the national government has already delayed. And the challenge is when they do their reports, that the control of budget will do a report maybe in July. They said that counties are incapable of absorbing funds. How do you absorb funds that you don't have? 4 months have not received any funds. It means it's going to be carried over to the next financial year. Yeah. So if you factor in the carryovers, per year we should be getting about 9 billion.
Against your total revenue collection per county?
Our total revenue collection is not, we are not doing very well because of the issue challenges. The structures have not been very good, but we are putting in place measures to ensure that we collect revenue. Actually, Transvaal has just been collecting about 18% of the total collectible revenue for potential, just about 18%. Yeah, but we want to move that. If we can be able to collect about 1 billion in the financial year, then we can do so many other things. And I know the potential here. So we're doing a bit of restructuring, of course, in liaison with the relevant officer, getting support to ensure that every collectible revenue is actually collected. And we are calling upon even our people of Nzoia to come out very strongly and pay tax. They should not engage in some funny games with some of our officers who collect revenue. And that's why even very soon we are going to complete digitization. We don't want our officers to interact anywhere with cash.
Governor, let me take you back to that aspect of, you are forming a government and you have got pending bills. How much did you borrow or did you carry from the last regime? And how much you cleared so far?
The assumption of office committee was talking about just about 600 million. Reports from the Auditor and Controller General were giving a different figure, about 1.2 billion. And that's why we formed a task force, just to delve into this problem and we get the exact position where we are. And during this period, it's now about 2 months, we expect to have this report by Friday this week. That's Kesho Kutwa. Then I'll have to look at it and see the exact position where we are in terms of pending bills. Of course, we made a provision of some amount of money to start paying those eligible bills. Those bills that are supposed to be payable, we're going to pay. The government's not in the business of killing businesses. People who have done work, genuine work, and indeed you can confirm that they were given work legally and they discharged that mandate, they're going to be paid. But there are so many others who believe in Kaz Hewa. You know, you are just given work, you don't do anything, you negotiate with officers here and there, then you are given the money. It's called sharing the loot. They should they're sharing taxpayers' money. So anybody who engaged in those shenanigans, we know we are not going to pay them. But those who did genuine work, they can prove that work was done, are going to pay them. This task force has taken a bit of time because we told them to go out there and actually physically check. Somebody said they did this job, they did this road. Can you go there and confirm that indeed the road was done? Let them show you pictures. This was there before. This was during my work as I was doing this road, and this is the finished product. And they need to confirm that this is the length of the road. It was 5 kilometers, and they have actually done 5 kilometers. Then you can say fine. And why are you not paid? Again, we check with even the FME system. Because sometimes money was requisitioned from the control of budget. It was approved to pay those projects. But when the money hit the account, it was diverted to other things, like not even projects, to other things. People somehow misappropriated the money. You say this fellow did this job, but they did not do the job. So you are just paying non-existent people, but in the records, money was released to pay this. So we also was going to check, because we have looked at some of the vouchers. You call the person who's supposed to have been paid and they say, no, I've not been paid my money. And yet the money was paid. You get one LPO, one LSO has been used to pay different people. We want to streamline and seal all those loopholes that even in the future, we don't have this kind of situation. And from where I sit, with the discipline of the national government, having pending bills is no financial discipline.
Yes.
Because you can only, whatever projects you do must be accommodated within the budget. So having pending bills means that you spend outside the budget.
Right.
So we just want to have a bit of financial discipline.
Let me quote what the Deputy President said the other day, that, our hands are tied. Whatever you're looking for, the government is not able to offer you. What was the final agreement between you and the national government as governors in terms of disbursement?
We agree.
It's not the responsibility of the national government to give us money. It's not a favor. CRA, Commission on Revenue Allocation, shares national revenue between the national government and the county government. It's not that PS one level of government is especially begging the other level for money, and the formula is known. The Constitution talked about at least 15%. That one is the baseline. We began with that one. Let us get that 15% first. Isn't it?
Yes.
Then now, looking at the demands and the kind of services we are offering, it is 70% to 50% of the share revenue adequate. Now let's look at the national government. What the national government doing with this 85% of that is retaining? There are so many other functions that are supposed to be devolved that are still with the national government. Go to the Ministry of Health. So many things that are supposed to be developed in the national government. Go to agriculture. Even this agricultural subsidy thing is supposed to be with the county government. So we are saying, give us all those things, but you give those functions. Let the functions be followed by funds. Don't just give us functions, then you retain the money. Look at Kera. Kera is doing so many roads that are supposed to be county roads.
Yes.
Yeah. So when the county governments made a noise, they unbundled the function. They released so many roads, but retained the money. So that's the problem. Yeah, the agency retains the money, right, but then they releases the roads. So we are saying, you give us the function, even ECD, early childhood development, the national government was paying these teachers. But we told them this is a national government function, so they released it, and then they retained the money. So we are saying, please, let the money follow functions. Yeah. So the CRA, their figures 407 billion. County governments are talking about 425 billion. We just want to reconcile the figures. What functions are going to be unbundled, and how much money are these functions coming with the counties?
Part of the recommendation from the COG.
That's what we agree. The president, and you will not hear any noise about this thing, because it was very practical, very objective. We just unbundle, get the funds, let the funds go to the counties. We are going to get our 425 billion.
Okay. Okay. So when are you likely, as a county government, likely to get the first disbursement?
It's not even the first disbursement. Now, as I said, money is already, because now the financial year is already running, isn't it? What we are talking about now is for the next financial year.
Yes. That's
from July. And from July, the next financial year, 2023-2024, we are looking at 425 billion. Currently, we are talking about 370 billion that the county has been receiving for the last 3 years. The national revenue has been growing, increasing, but the allocation to the county government has remained the same, constant. Is that logical? Is that reasonable? So if national, we're now talking about a 3 trillion budget,
yes,
isn't it? But the national government, the county government is just getting 370 billion. But when you look at the functions that were devolved, these are the functions that touch the common manage more.
Yeah.
And we know the national government has got an interest, because these are the same people who elected the president. He has got an interest to know that they're getting these services. So we are just saying, let us not squabble about these things. This money going to the county, it's not going to the pockets of governors. Yeah. It's not going to serve the Kenyans. The president appreciates that. And we believe that the people who work on these figures, guys from the treasury, from the control of the budget, CRA, should be able now even to look at the position of the president himself. Does he want to frustrate and fail devolution, or he wants to make sure that devolution works? I think he wants to make devolution work. Yeah.
All right. Governor, when you look in front of us here, we all consume this. But are you priding yourself that you belong to where this maize come from? Because as correctly put, is the bread basket of Kenya. We all know it. But as it is, Does it still pride itself as the breadbasket of Kenya?
We feed the nation, but the nation doesn't appreciate us. When you go to other countries, a country like this one that produces maize, and maize is staple food in this country, we should take an interest in knowing how our people are. The people who produce food for this country, are they happy? Our people aren't happy. One, because the cost of inputs is very high. Last year, we bought a bag of 50 kilogram bag of DAP at almost 7,000 shillings. Yeah, nobody cared about the farmer. At the end of the year, when you're producing this maize and selling, there's so many brokers. The market is not there. At the same time, our borders are opened and there's a maize glut. So you're spending too much. During harvest, you want to sell, the market is flooded by imports. You don't have a good price for your crop. Then we've got a lot of post-harvest losses. And you look at, I associated the poverty, the high level poverty in Nzoia with this. With this one? Yeah. Yes. We are obsessed with growing maize.
Can give the paradox of a rich county but living in poverty.
Yes, exactly. But now we want to change this. That this maize now must impact positively on the farmer. And that's why we want to thank even the president, first of all, for subsidizing the cost of fertilizer. And I want to believe that we're going to get sufficient amounts of fertilizer for our farmers. As a county government, also want to provide good seed to the farmers. We're going to subsidize it and even give free seed to some of our farmers. We just want to ensure that at the household level, there is food security. First of all, let just our farmers be assured that for 12 months, they're producing maize. For everybody else, they also have food. Well, at the end of the day, you look at this as a staple food for you as a consumer. That farmer looks at this thing as a cash crop also. Yeah, they are supposed to get money from this, but are they getting money from this? That's what, as a county government, we want to address. And even the issue of marketing our crop and ensuring that we eliminate these people who are called brokers. People who don't know how maize is produced, but they reap the most from it. We're going to get them from the value chain. So that will do that this maize pays our farmer correctly.
Because when you look at this one, Governor, at the end of the day, quite important. Yesterday you were talking about subsidized fertilizer. You are going to supply and give farmers. What is the level of supply right now to the farmers?
We have about 103,000 farmers who have applied. If you go at the rate of maybe $2 per farm, of course we'll know the quantity that every farmer has applied for once we get the figures from NCPB, the people who are distributing the fertilizer now. But of course, they're a bit centralized, and as a county government, we've said that we're going to make logistic arrangements to ensure that this fertilizer reaches the farmers and they are almost close to their farms. So I will know the actual quantities once I get the record and know that how many bags did the individual farmers apply for? Yeah, okay. And how many they are going to have, they have been allocated. Because you can apply for 30 bags and you're given 3. So that means that when you applied for 30, you're going to get 30. Because I know the demand is also very high. But I want to believe that we're going to get sufficient amount of fertilizer, because if you don't get sufficient amount of fertilizer again, it will not make any difference.
Somebody can term you, Governor, as a redemption governor right now, because at the end of the day, when you look at maize, you must be having a lot of work to make sure that you bring back the lost glory of Kitale and Nzoia in general. Are you quite optimistic that you're going to achieve this?
Yes. So we're going to change. The fertilizer that we've been using has acidified our soils. Yes. But farmers are a bit too obsessed with it. But so far we've done enough to ensure that they change that attitude. And I'm here this year they're going to embrace a different kind of fertilizer completely. And actually we've told the national government that when you supply fertilizer to Nzoia, do not supply this fertilizer. And the other day the president actually confirmed that they're not supplying that kind of fertilizer because they know that it has made our soil sick. Isn't it? We're going to assist farmers with seed, as I've said. And the thirdly and most importantly, we're going to increase the number of extension officers so that the journey with the farmer as used to be in the past. Yeah, that the farmer has got somebody who is technically competent, who is going to work with the farmer right from the breaking of the soil all the way to harvesting. And we're going to improve. Like last year we had just about 4.8 million bags of maize. We want to double that figure this year.
Okay. Okay. Come to a close. Are you sure, or are you optimistic that whatever is going to happen, the North Rift, the soldiers already there, the KDF is there? From your own analysis, we've talked about this over again, you've talked about it, but from your own analysis, do you think it's going to bear some fruit at the end of the day, the insecurity in the North Rift?
But at the operational level, I think it can be done better. I looked at the section of the law that was used to deploy the military is a bit limiting. Because it talks about the military coming to support civilian authorities.
Yes.
It's a bit limiting because whoever will be now doing the lead will be the civilian policing service, that's the National Police Service, will be at the front, and the military will be providing backup. But for me, from where I sit, I think the military should provide backup. And there's a relevant section of the law that can be used to do that, where this proposal is taken to the National Assembly, is discussed, and then approval is given for the deployment of the military. The military are very good when they work alone.
Yes.
So they move in. Actually, that work they can do it within 1 month. There's nothing there.
Everything that happened in Mount Elgon, do you remember?
1 month. It will be done. Then now there's other civilian police agencies can now come in and sanitize the place and just ensure that the gains are not lost. That status quo is maintained, that we've gotten out the bandits, we've recovered all the firearms. We start the process of building the infrastructure of that place, ensuring that this remoteness is removed. Let us have some schools, some hospitals, water in those areas.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you say that the military is going to support, from where I sit, you're going to have a lot of blame games. You needed this to give you, but you didn't do that. What other thing are we supposed to do? And the police cannot command the military. Yeah, okay. but the military can't command the police. So I think that needs to be looked at, because the kind of scenario that's being created now, we tried it. We were given this military for about 10 days. It did not work very well. But the military must take charge of this thing.
They have to take complete control.
Let the police they've moved in. They've done whatever they have to do, and the police now just moved in for purpose of mop up, and we'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Quickly. Some hotspots areas they should concentrate on.
The 6 counties of the North Rift that are disturbed. We need to have adequate focus on them, starting from Samburu, Laikipia, Baringo, Elgeyo-Marakwet, West Pokot, and Turkana.
Turkana. Governor, finally, what do you do during your free time? During your free time, do you play guitar?
During my free time, I sleep. My free time
is... say that you're ever serious. Do you have a time that you always have time to relax and say, now this is me?
I go to the office at 7. I leave the office sometimes at 10 p.m. So my only free time is when I'm sleeping.
Come on, Governor, you can't say that you don't have time for yourself. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I really didn't want to dwell on that matter of insecurity in the North Rift, because it's something that's been talked about. Of course, we're just waiting to see how it's going to progress, and we leave the rest to the security agents, and of course the government has taken it over. So let's...
Very frankly, for me, I was just sharing my experience when I was a regional commissioner, and I thought it was important for people to understand these things, the dynamics that's happening there. And I think so far the government is acquitting itself well. The area is going to be pacified.
Please do something about sport. Please do something about sports and talent. We
are doing groundbreaking on 23rd for our international stadium.
Do that.
We want to do a very good.
The next interview should happen.
Yeah, get here after 2 months, and you'll see what we'll be doing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much. That has been George Natembeya, the governor of Nzoia County 026, the breadbasket of Kenya. And by the way, they're still fresh. Let me just show you. Why is it that the entire nation is dry, but you have fresh maize, Governor? What are you doing so different? It's fresh. See that one?
God loves Nzoia. We have rain almost throughout the year.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We're taking you back to Nairobi for our normal programming. This has been the standard version of Good Morning Kenya from Kitale. Thank you, Governor, for being with us. All right. Good morning. My name is Victor Lo. Bye-bye.